Hello, welcome back to Jane's Stories of Life. Today happens to be the day that we celebrate the national holiday of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And birthdays are very important times. His actual birthday was January 15th, but today is the national holiday. I want to talk just about birthdays in general today, however, because today is the 10th birthday of my youngest grandson, Grant. And we were happy to spend a little time together this weekend in celebration of his 10th birthday. Birthdays were always very special in my family. Growing up, everybody's birthday always required some kind of a cake, some kind of candles, some kind of singing of happy birthday, some ice cream, even if it was just the immediate family or if it was family and a few friends. It was always very simple, always just a homemade cake with frosting and sometimes decorated with special little decorating tips and bags and, the things that long before the fancy cakes that you could order at a grocery store with all the fancy things. It was just very simple. One of the birthdays I had was a chickenpox birthday because I was getting over the chickenpox. And so the only people who could come were people who had had the chickenpox. And so there were very few friends at that one. Some of the other birthdays that were memorable in our family, there were two in particular that I want to just highlight. One of them was Morgan's 65th birthday. Unbeknownst to me, before that time, Morgan had never had a birthday party. And so when he was turning 65, we decided to have a party. It was not a surprise. He helped in the planning. And it was very special because he had been on dialysis for about 2 years at that point, maybe. And whenever anybody asked, what do you want for your birthday? His response was always a new kidney. Well, as it happened, the party was on a Saturday night in September 2003. Monday morning, I had a call at 6 a.m. Morgan had already left for dialysis. It was from the University of Maryland Transplant Center saying they had a match if he wanted it. So they had to call him at the dialysis center to ask if he wanted it. Of course he did. They said, we want you here by 1 o'clock. Baltimore was 2 hours from Dover. He finished his dialysis treatment. We went to Baltimore. We were there at 1 o'clock, and by midnight, he had a new kidney. So at 65, he was blessed with the best birthday gift, a new chance of life, which lasted another 16 years. So that was a very special birthday. The other one that was very special was Cindy's 35th birthday. At that point, Cindy had been in treatment for breast cancer for several years. Her birthday was coming up, and I thought, well, let's do it. Let's have a birthday party. And then I thought, well, no, people, 40 is a milestone. That's when most people have birthday parties, at those milestone years. But I said, no, let's do it. So we planned a surprise birthday party, and the theme of her party was Earth, Wind, and Fire. She loved Earth, Wind, and Fire. Her birthday is September 13th. And so, the song September and all the other Earth, Wind, and Fire songs were played throughout her party. And it was a surprise. She had no idea. We had no idea that within 18 months, her life would end because of the breast cancer. So, don't put off what you might think about doing because you just never know. So those are two very special birthdays. Some of the others were memorable. When the children were growing up, Cindy often had sleepovers, and that was her favorite kind of birthday party. One year she didn't want a cake, she wanted an apple pie for her birthday, so we had apple pie with candles in it. One year, not in the pie, of course, you know what I mean. One year John wanted a boys only birthday party, So therefore, Cindy and I had to leave, and Morgan was left in charge. This was John's 5th birthday. Morgan was left in charge with 6 little boys for this birthday party. And I had arranged, that was during the days of the old show Emergency. John was really into firefighting and Johnny Gage and all those things. So I had arranged a field trip for Morgan and the 6 little boys to go to the Schenectady Fire Department, where they had a tour of the fire department, and they got to sit in the fire truck and so forth. So that was a very special birthday, and it was fun to just have Morgan experience that whole thing of trying to juggle. I left craft items for them to do, the red thing. They had little fireman hats, so that was fun. And John was born on October 31st, so his birthdays were often Halloween theme. That made it very easy for things. But it was interesting because since Morgan's family did not do much with birthdays, and it was an adjustment when we got married. You marry a person and their experiences. I was disappointed several times, because Morgan did not seem to have put the same value on birthdays that I did. And I was disappointed to think that I would have to write the date on his calendar or remind him it was my birthday. And it was just not an intentional thing. It's just that those were different practices in our families. But Morgan was if it weren't for him, Hallmark cards might not be in business today, because Morgan loved going to the Hallmark store. He would buy 4 or 5 different beautiful, beautiful sentimental cards for any occasion. And so that was, his way of acknowledging special days. But it was a little bit of an adjustment, and you never know when you marry someone. Your expectations sometimes are based on what you experience, and they may be very different from theirs. So it was interesting. But 51 years we worked all that out. The other thing, I guess, with birthdays, I just have always felt that on the day you were born, God gave that you were a gift to the world, and whatever your life turns out to be, however long or short your life is, you've had an impact because you were a gift from God to the world. I hope that as you celebrate birthdays, and there are many, special things that people do, things have changed, they've gotten sometimes much more elaborate. I mean, I think we used to buy little plastic toys to put on the cakes, to decorate them for the birthdays, and everything used to be very simple. Things have gotten a bit more complex nowadays, but guess what? So be it. It's still an acknowledgement of the day. So I hope that you'll think back to some of the birthdays that you celebrated or maybe didn't celebrate. My birthday is May 9th, and I didn't have many things, especially as an adult, because my birthday was always usually a few days around Mother's Day. May is a time of weddings, anniversaries, graduations, all kinds of things. And Morgan used to kind of complain. He said, I have your birthday, we have Mother's Day, and our wedding anniversary was also in May. So he had the triple whammy. Hallmark stock grew that month just because of him, I think. But anyway, celebrate life. Celebrate days that people were born. And keep celebrating. Cherish your memories and pass them on. Have a great week. Oh, I have to add a PS here. Last year, I decided I wanted to do something special, so I went on a cruise for my 82nd birthday, and I had such a good time that I'm doing a cruise again this year for my 83rd, because I love cruising. So that's just an addition to celebrating birthdays. Cherish your memories and pass them on.